Okay, this time I'm going to show you how to make dank macros. So I have far too many macros, but that's fine. So the first macro is my personal. So actually this is my holies personal, but basically it just casts the personal and casts the house. Same with that. So this is an interesting macro. I don't actually use it, but this is a cast sequence macro. So it has /cast sequence. And the way cast sequence works is you will cast every time you press the macro, like changes, so that casts the next thing in the sequence until it resets, so until you run out of stuff to cast in the sequence, or until a certain timer. So the reset for this is 15, but with this, basically what I can do is all with one button. I can press it, a Radiance, press it again, a Radiance. I don't have Evangel equipped. I very clearly planned this video. Press it and there's Evangel, press it and there's Velen's. So it changes with every cast until it resets. Haven't found a great use for it yet. I have modded buttons, so like this one casts if there is no mod, so it's cast. And you have to put the slash because it's you're telling it to do something. Show tooltip just shows the tooltip of the ability, so it doesn't. So I can then hover over and see what the ability does instead of it just showing macro name. But /cast, and if I have no modifier pressed, it will cast Angelic Feather. If I have modifier control pressed, it will cast Angelic Feather at the player's location, so at my location. You could also do like at cursor, weird stuff like that, but the reason I did that was so that I wouldn't have to like scroll over my character and it would miss my character and hit someone else when I was trying to use my personal movement. That one's interesting. So PWS is the next one I have an interesting macro for. Basically, what it will do is if I'm pressing control and I'm talented into Clarity of Will, which is this ability, which is another shield ability. But it's like casted and it's weird and never used outside of one fight. But if I'm talented into it, then it will cast that if I'm pressing control. If I'm not pressing control, then it will try to cast Power Word Shield if my current target is helpful. So that means if my current target is an ally. If my current target isn't an ally, instead puts the Power Word Shield on the target of my target. So if I'm targeting the boss, it will put it on the tank, which is useful because then I don't have to click off the boss. But I'm not sure how useful that actually is. For my Rapture one, I just have it cast Power Word Shield, so it instantly casts. This is again for Holy. This just casts Sanctify at the location of my cursor, so I can instantly cast it during stuff like Apotheosis, where I don't want to be like casting 2 spells and then wait like half a second to try to get the Sanctify cast off. Again, I can actually switch to Holy to show you that. So the reason I made it was because I could do this and instantly cast the Sanctify after a Prayer of Healing or after any cast ability, and wouldn't have to click it and then click after I'm done clicking it. And yeah, it was just, I find it easier to do it that way. Then I have some semi-smart abilities. I have 4 of them, and I have a smart ability. So semi-smart means that if what it will do is it will try to target the correct target. So it will cast it if my target, so it will target. So basically, what this ends up actually doing, I forgot how this works. Sorry. Is that basically this line tries to target the target of my ally or just the target. Yeah, so this line tries to target the target of my target. So that means if I'm selecting an ally, it will cast the Light's Wrath on the target of the ally. Target enemy basically is if I'm not already targeting something. So that means if I'm either not targeting an enemy or I'm not targeting an ally, or I'm not targeting anything after I try to target what the ally is targeting. So if they're not scrolled over something, or if they're or if I accidentally selected a healer and I'm targeting just what they were trying to heal, then it will just target an enemy in front of me, and that just like targets a cone. It's kind of dangerous. It will sometimes target non-combat dudes, or dudes non-combat in dungeons. So that sucks, but life's hard. And then we'll cast Light's Wrath, and that's basically what all of these smart ones do, or semi-smart ones do. And then I have a smart penance, which is it will target an enemy if I'm not already targeted an enemy. This one I don't have. I don't know why I don't have that. I probably should have that. But this one just targets an enemy if I'm not targeting one, and casts penance on them if it's harmful, if they are harmful. So if they're an enemy, and only cast penance on them if they're non-harmful if I'm pressing control. So the reason I have this is because penance can target an ally or an enemy, and basically the way my class works, I want to target an enemy about 99% of the time, but I do want to be able to target an ally. And so I have it so I have to manually press control and then penance for it to penance a ally. So I don't accidentally penance an ally, because that's like a huge HPS loss. And all the rest of these are just binding a couple spells together, like Nod Thumb Ring, which is a ring that has like 3-minute cooldown and a 5% HPS and DPS buff. Yeah. But basically, show tooltip shows the tooltip. If you specify what tooltip, it shows that tooltip. It's helpful when you're binding multiple spells. I don't have it here because Rapture is the first thing casted, but if it was like, if I had mod control Rapture, which I may do, then it would show the tooltip of Power Word Shield until I press control, and then the first ability in the macro would be Rapture, and it would then show Rapture's tooltip. Which you could kind of see in the last video. Cast sequence uses cast sequence and then the conditions on which the cast sequence should reset, and then each ability, and we'll just cast those abilities in order. So if it's just a number, it's just seconds. So after 15 seconds of not pressing this button, it will reset. Or if I cast the final ability, it will start back at the beginning. This can be kind of helpful, like if you don't know your Shadow Priest rotation, for example, you can just bind your Shadow Priest rotation to a cast sequence and just press once every GCD, or press when you're supposed to press, because there's a channeled ability in there. I'll actually make one for Shadow Priest. So I can show that. So your basic rotation on, ignore this. I'm not doing anything here. So your basic rotation for Shadow Priest, we're gonna make. Am I not allowed another week? Really? I'm not allowed another one. Okay, we're gonna delete one. We're gonna delete you. I'm gonna delete you. This was very planned video. Clearly. So this is gonna be S Priest rotation. Actually, we're gonna put question mark, and we're gonna do show tooltip, so we can see the tooltip of the next ability that's gonna be casted. We're gonna make a cast sequence. It's gonna reset after 4 seconds. 4.5 seconds. And the first cast in this is a Void Bolt. Is that the name of the spell? 1 second. Very planned video. It is Void Bolt. Void Bolt, and then you cast a Mind Blast, and then a where's the ability? Mind Flay. And then you cast another Void Bolt, and then another Mind Flay, but this time for two GCDs, but it will take a little bit of intelligence to use this macro. You'll have to correctly press it once every 9 seconds. But yeah. So we're gonna pull this, and we're gonna put this on our bars, and we're gonna quickly get some energy up, so I can use my stuff. So I'm gonna cast this, and then I can cast Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Mind Flay, Void Bolt, Mind Flay, and then Void Bolt, Mind Blast, Mind Flay, Void Bolt, Mind Flay, until Void Bolt, Mind Blast. You get the point. It's kind of useful, and it's all just with one button. Of course, if you fuck up, it will reset after 4.5 seconds, or whatever time you specify. And that can be very helpful. I can't think of any other. I think I explained the cast ones pretty well. Use cast and a couple. Use cast and I believe. Yeah, using cast do the same thing. There's another one in there that does the same exact thing, but using cast do both just do the same exact thing. Target something, target enemy, targets an enemy under certain conditions. Yeah. I think hopefully I explained everything well, so that no one's confused. Yeah. Okay.